A sabbatical, I mean, all the time that I want to do whatever kind of projects that I want or activities that I want, free of all the stress of meetings and deadlines and expectations of other people. That sounds great. Sign me up. But how do I justify taking all that time off? And what if my sabbatical doesn't really generate anything? What if I'm just wasting time? What if I fail at doing a sabbatical? Well, I'm here to tell you that you're not going to fail if you take a sabbatical, and that taking a sabbatical is one of the most important ways in which you can develop yourself to the fullest of your potential. So you can take a sabbatical. You probably should take a sabbatical, as we'll talk about. And if you want to continue to grow to the fullest of your potential in your life, I think you really must take a sabbatical. And this is especially true for people who are in the later stages of their careers. If you're in your 50s or your 60s, even if you've taken a sabbatical before, another sabbatical at this point in time is very important. First of all, you can take a sabbatical. And whenever someone thinks about taking time off from their work and their daily life for a free moment for themselves, two things immediately come to mind. And the first one is money. We all think it. Like, how can I afford to take more than a weekend or a vacation for myself without working? Because that almost certainly means no income, or at least much less income. Well, yes, you can't take a sabbatical tomorrow necessarily, unless you're very lucky, in which case, congratulations. But you can plan for a sabbatical. Decide when you think you could actually put together enough resources to take the sabbatical. Maybe that will take a year. Maybe that will take 2 years. Maybe that will take 5 years. Maybe it's when your kids graduate from high school. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that it works for you. And then you set a budget for what you're going to need for the time you want off, and figure out how much you have to save and begin preparing. Now, there's a lot of details about this, and we can talk about those. And if you're curious, leave a question in the comments and we can talk more about it. But for the moment, remember, it can be done. The second thing is time. Where are you going to find the time? More importantly, how are you going to convince the people who employ you, whether it's your boss, your manager, your clients, to give you that time off? There are many ways. In fact, having that time off can be a real benefit to everyone, including your boss, your manager, or your clients. It gives you time to explore new things. It gives you time to rest and to rejuvenate and to learn new skills and to develop new projects and to come back with new ideas. All of these things are benefits to everyone involved. And of course, you may have to negotiate. And again, that's something that's much more full topic, but being able to actually talk to those people and tell them why you're doing what you're doing, why you need the time you need, can go a long way towards making everybody comfortable with it. And now that you hopefully believe that you can take a sabbatical, the logistics will work, you should also take a sabbatical. You should take a sabbatical. Now, I don't like to use the word should a lot because, it's got that sort of judgmental tone about it. But hear me out. The first reason you should take a sabbatical is stress. And I know you're aware that you're under stress a lot of the time. But there is more stress in your life than you're actually aware of. Because you have this superficial level of stress that you're completely conscious of. It's related to your deadlines and your schedules and the pressures to just do what you need to do during the day. But as I found during my sabbatical, there are other layers of stress. layers that have been completely normalized, that you've come to accept as simply the way things are. And once you step away from work, those will begin to dissolve. So not only will the obvious stress that you're under start to dissipate, those lower levels of stress will also begin to dissolve. And they will free you up in ways that you didn't ever expect, in ways that even a vacation can't get to, because you're always going back very soon from a vacation. Another reason you should take a sabbatical is the opportunity cost of not taking a sabbatical. Because if you don't take that time and give yourself that space to explore new things, experiment with new things, you will just go on with what you're doing, and you will miss the chance to do those things. And in many ways, this is the essence of the third point, that you really must consider a sabbatical, especially if you're getting into the later stages of your career. And to be perfectly blunt about it, the reason is time is finite and it's running out. If you don't take the time to explore what you could be doing, you will never do that. And you may think, I have a great career, I'm doing just fine, I've been doing this for years, why should I take a sabbatical? This may all be true, but there is another layer that I think of as a subterranean transition. Because as you've been going along, doing your daily work, getting in the car, commuting to work, doing your work, getting back in the car, coming home, handling it all well, inside you're watching everything that's happening, you're learning from your experiences, you're gathering new ideas, and you're changing and you're growing. And so inside there is a part of you that has been evolving the whole time you've been in your career, even if the career itself is staying more or less the same, or even if you're progressing. There's still a part of you that isn't able to find expression in the limitations of that work. Taking time away from that gives you the freedom to start to explore that. And let's be clear, there is no world in which continuing to just grind away at what you're doing will ever give you the opportunity to let that part of yourself out and let it find expression in the world. And this, I think, is the greatest value of a sabbatical as well. It's that openness, that spaciousness that's around you, that part of you that's been growing on the inside can jump into and be like, hey, now I finally have space to show what I can do and what I've learned. And of course, going along with that are the things that we mostly think about with sabbaticals, is learning new skills, finding new interests, rejuvenating older interests. But it all comes down to that idea that inside you have been changing, and the sabbatical is a way of acknowledging that change. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and now you accept or realize, or at least maybe you're going along with the idea that you can take a sabbatical. There are a lot of good reasons why you should take a sabbatical, and particularly in your later stages of your career, you really must take a sabbatical if you want to become all that you have the potential to be. Once again, thank you for joining me today. Here are a couple of other videos for you to take a look at. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe.